Hi everyone, this is my first ever sketchbook tour. This is a sketchbook that I did in university. It was during one of my painting modules, and it's a very dear sketchbook to me because it's what got me properly back into painting and drawing. So the module I was taking was called Painting 1, and the whole idea of this project was to keep a sketchbook where we try different styles, but the overarching theme of it was yourself. So what I did was a mind map with things about myself, and I have all of these museum tickets and train tickets put in it because I took this module during a study abroad year. So I was doing a lot of traveling, I was in a new environment, and yeah, I was just really trying to find myself in a way. So the first ever class was just about watercolors, and we just learned some techniques about wet on wet, wet on dry, layers. So these were what I did in class, and I really didn't like the paper I was using. And then I went home, I got myself some watercolor paper, and then I did all of this, and I was really proud of myself, even though they're just blobs on the paper and just water. But I think you can scan this and use it somewhere. And then we had to study artists. So each week we were studying a different artist. So that was Nick Runge. This is some of his work, and we really had to analyze stuff, and this was my rendition, let's say, of his style, and this was just me trying to copy his style. And then we did another artist, her name is Adara. Again, lots of analyzing yourself and their work. And another thing, we had to use our own reference pictures. So that's me there, and that's what I came up with. I wasn't very happy with this, but again, I think it was mostly the paper. The task was to go home and really analyze this and use our own reference pictures, and yeah, that's what I came up with. I was really proud of this at the time, not quite so much now. It was a very good exercise at the time. And then again we went into another artist. This is Egan, and he was a very, very interesting artist. I really enjoyed his style. I just wasn't quite so good at recreating it, and I don't think it's a style I was comfortable in. Really liked this painting here, and I liked how he did a hand there, so I tried to recreate it. It looks a bit like a giraffe, but we'll get over that. And then that was my inspired painting. That's what I was trying to achieve. It's interesting, that's all I'll say. And I had to take a picture of me, and I photoshopped myself, made myself longer to fit his model standards. And we're still in the watercolor phase. We were just studying another watercolor artist. This is again me studying it, and that was my final piece for this artist. I did have another go before that, and I don't think I've got it. I didn't think at the time I got it properly, so yeah, this was more towards the desired style. I think this is my favorite spread. We just had a task to pick only one color and try to make as many tones and shades as possible, and it was the first time we were using acrylic paints as well. And then the fun part, we had to use masking tape, paint it in different shades and create a palette, and then we had to do some art with it because we were studying this artist, and you'll see later. And this here, it's all done with cutting tape and sticking it over, and it was a bit of a pain. It took forever, and then I decided I can't do the hair as well, so I just painted that in 5 minutes and I was done with it. And continuing, we're still in this collage phase, and then this is just pictures of my friends or whatever. And I wanted to give landscapes a go in this style. I absolutely hated it, but we had to have everything here in the sketchbook. And yeah, this is the artist. This is a Greek artist. I'm not actually sure if he used tape or something else, but this is the desired effect we wanted to try. And then again, I gave this another go, and I quite like this one. It was actually from a figure drawing class I was taking, the model, and I really liked the pose, so I just redid it again with tape. And then we got more into blocking. That was quite fun as well. This is a picture of my grandma, and yeah, I was just really trying to find the things that make me and use them as reference and things that resonate with myself. This is another artist that we're studying. I really like this artist. He really inspired me. Obviously, I'm not as good as him, and I think a lot of the artists here were using oils, but we had to use acrylics. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe because it takes less time to dry and stuff. But a lot of the times it was quite hard because acrylics dry so fast. Later on, we had to do a lot of blending, and we did masters, so that was, yeah. And this is a spread of just analyzing artists, because in some lessons we would have 4 or even 5 artists to look at, but we would only study the style of one artist. We didn't have time to do all of them in one go. And yeah, this is when we did the masters. And we even had the task to take our own pictures in the studio. We were split into teams and tried the chiaroscuro technique, which I really enjoyed. And another thing, they really wanted us to save our palettes if we could, so there's a lot of that in here. And this is where you see this was a bit of a pain, because I just couldn't get acrylics to blend on paper. And after trying it on canvas or on canvas paper, I really know why. But I really like this spread. It's a really nice one. I bought some picture frames and I didn't need the mount, so I just put it here, and there's something about it that I really like. It's very graphic design, I would say. And then we were looking at different abstract artists, and we had the task to really work big. A lot of people on my course had final pieces separated from the sketchbook, but me and my teacher decided that I'm quite good at putting things together on the page, and she thought it was a strong point of mine, so to just keep everything in the sketchbook, and if I can fit everything in the sketchbook, that would be great. So with this, she was just literally like, can you cut this up and stick it in your sketchbook? And I was like, sure, why not? I wasn't very proud of it, but the funny thing is, once it's been cut, it looks much more interesting. So yeah, these are lots of different pockets that I made, but I think this is my favorite here. And it's just loads of it because it was a massive piece of paper that we had to work on. And then we got to still lifes, and I really enjoyed this. This was the first time where we didn't have to copy anyone's style, and we were just free to do whatever we want, whatever technique we wanted, whatever medium, whatever subject. So it was really fun, and it was a nice break from the rest of the course. So yeah, I went back to watercolors because I was very comfortable using watercolors. I always did. I really like this part of the painting. I really messed it up with that, but I quite liked it as a composition. And then we had the task to journal our food. So we had a visual breakfast diary basically, and that was my breakfast one morning, and I just had to paint it. And I went back to acrylics because I really wanted to make them work. And I think this turned out quite alright. And on the next page, I liked the painting so much they are gone because I framed them. Oh, and then I tried palette knives. I kind of hated it. Not my favorite thing. And as we were getting towards the end, I think we were really working a lot with acrylics, and you can kind of see I was starting to get bored. I think this was a nice idea, so I photoshopped these pictures of myself, and I thought that was quite nice, but the execution, not quite so happy with it. I absolutely hate that one, but I had to put it in. and based on on Christina's work. We had to take these really weird angled pictures and try to distort ourselves a bit with perspective and whatever, and that's what I tried here. And yeah, a few more artists around. We were starting to get towards the end of the semester, so I didn't have as much time making final pieces. It was just more studying things, but I was still had my graphic element to it, where I tried to make the paintings fit together. And this was an interesting subject. We were just told to take pictures of ourselves again and use any style we used so far and try something else. And I used palette knives. And I've actually really liked this page. I know it's not any painting in there, it's just a white pen, but I thought it was quite nice. And the series, it wasn't the best thing. That was the theme of it. We had to work in a series. It could have been better, I think, but there were some nice elements to it. Here I messed it up and then I tried to put black paint and it didn't really work, but I think these two were interesting. There was something to it, and we had to keep going with palette knives, and these are all done with palette knives. And I like the abstracty stuff, but if you had to go into detail, I just wasn't so much of a fan. And then this is when it starts getting a bit boring, just more writing, and then I finished the course, but I had a lot of pages left still. This is an interesting spread. I quite enjoyed it. I was getting off the course and I was just really free to do whatever I wanted. This is one of my plans from back then. We had to give it away, which was really sad because we were moving away. This was from a different course actually. I was taking a drawing course, and this was just using lines and like a sort of a still life, but I really liked it. It was on a massive piece of paper, so I just cut my favorite part of it and put it in here. And just using some ink stuff from a different course. And then here it was just trying to get some more anatomy done in a way. I hate her face. I hated her face and I just covered it up. But yeah, it was an interesting study. I think these are from Pinterest, but these were from my own house. I was quite proud of this one, I have to admit. And oh, these are some self-portraits of myself. My mom said none of them look like me, which is interesting. I think these two do. But it's an interesting thing to try to draw yourself 5 times. So you should definitely try that. It's a great exercise. And then these are some stuff from my figure drawing course that I just put in here. This was from Pinterest. I was watching a very interesting video and I went on this website that has reference pictures, and I put myself a timer of 15 to 20 minutes, I think it was. And I really tried to nail that technique. I think it worked the best on these two. Not quite so well here, but I think it's quite a nice page. I really enjoy doing this one. And these are from a holiday. I went with my partner's family to Wales, and we were sitting in this gorgeous village in the middle of nowhere, and we had a nice garden, so they just wanted to draw. And yeah, that's my drawing. I really enjoyed this one. It was very nice. And then that's them. Another evening we just decided to draw each other. Yeah, this was really fun. I enjoyed this one a lot, and they did as well. They had lots of fun doing it. Yeah, and then I think these are the last 2 pages here. I was trying to go back into acrylics a bit, and I kind of thought of this Aphrodite and Adonis story, and it worked out okay. Yeah, I don't know why I went back and working on acrylics on this, but it was a fun exercise, and I had leftover paint, so I just did some squares, and that's it. There's still quite a lot of pages left in this, but yeah, I just could never get myself to finish it, and I think this is finished now. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm new to YouTube, so if you could support me by a like or a comment or a subscribe, that would be great. So yeah, bye.